Okay. Uh, as always, I'm here to make testimonials, and it's because as disturbing things they do to me, I want to continuously speak about it, and making sure that these people do not live a delusional reality they've created for themselves. You've heard about people being forced to think in these disturbing things. Matter of fact, most target individuals, which I identify myself as a target individual, meaning I'm in a program where we are constantly manipulated to think in disturbing ways. It's just so disgusting, and this is a way to break you down. But also, other things are happening to you. Your body is being broken down. Your psychological, mental state is being broken down. Your, you know, your whole life, right? But what I like to talk about the most is about the psychological manipulations, as you can see right now speaking. And if you ever want to see me before my first video and watch me now, you'll see that there's definitely a difference in how I'm speaking, and that's because they're doing things to me to make it hard for me to function. And that's because of what's happening to my brain. They're doing so much horrible things to it. Not only just the psychological aspect of things, but this disturbing psychological things, but also even functionality of the brain is just becoming hard and hard to function. As I'm speaking, I can feel my brain just struggling to just function. But I'm gonna make sure that if this is the last things I said, this is the last time I can speak. This is what I'm gonna say. These people are disgusting, and just 2 seconds ago, I just want to talk about what just happened, and I will make a video and show exactly what and how disgusting and disturbing this thing is. I saw there was like a picture of this little baby, which I'll make a specific video about it. Now I'm just gonna, from this point on, I will show what they do in regard to how they manipulate me. There was this baby, and they start making me think of disturbing things with this baby. Remember a couple of days ago I was talking about these horrible things that I heard that happened in South Africa, when this baby was raped by this man and did these horrible things to this baby. And they try to create a memory of stimulation of what happened to that baby. Now they try to make me think of this baby, which you'll see a video shortly after this about the baby and what they do about this baby and what they make me think. And they make me think of disturbing things with this baby, right? And then you hear these perps. These people are contracted by the government to get you to somehow find rationality in what they're saying, and to try to make you feel guilty for them, try to make you feel guilty for this disturbing thoughts they implanting in you. They're trash. This government trash. Just that's the assignment. That's what they call war, right? They call that being a war. They're not a war. They're just to charge the government contract to do these nasty things and try to degrade you in this fashion. But these low life trash are gonna die one day, and before that, there's gonna be reimbursement. They're just bottom feeders. And I'm glad that they work in an environment like that. To be honest, to force somebody to think about babies in this fashion, this is not a glamorous job. This is not an honorable, dignified job. This is a disgusting life. And on top of that, they work for the entities that contract them, filled with pedophiles. So you understand, these people are just trash. There's not even a way you can try to make it fierce, because they truly try to make it sound that way sometimes. Like they try you can pay for it. These people torture that baby that you'll see. They torture babies that young. 3-week-old babies being radiated by this trash talking to me. And they try to agitate you. It's like, oh, we're mean. These people are full, like just completely immersed, like completely in a world of pedophilia where they force you to, and they try to kind of make it a little gimmicky. This trash, they just work for pedophiles in a sense that There's a lot of pedophiles in this agency, and you do the pedophile type of torture. So when I see them, of course, I see them for what they are. I'd rather get tortured to death than do what these people do. Who would want to live this life that they live? It's such a disgusting life, to be honest. And I know, they try to agitate me. It's like, oh, you are, you. That's the kind of tone they try to use with me. But when I see them, I see the trashiness. They were doing this thing where they make me imagine this disgusting thing with this baby, and then try to make me think of a joke I made to make fun of my friend. And like, you see, haha. Just to say, you see, that's. They're disgusting low lives. Uh, they've been throughout this week. They've been playing with my libido. Oh my gosh, they play with my libido, cranking out the stimulations. You hear this woman talk about they do that a lot with her too. Like randomly, just she feel palpitation and warmth in her private area and genitals. They like to play with the sexual arousal, so they just crank you up so they can use this libido and aim it toward babies and kids and things like that. It's disgusting. And so the stuff they do is just disturbing. So earlier, before I even saw this baby, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go and watch adult content. Release this disturbing. They release the libido they've cranked up all throughout the weeks because they truly arouse you. At this point, if there's something I can take to stop my libido, I would. Because the way they use your libido, and mind you, I'm somebody who I'm a sexual being. I enjoy sex like every other man. But if I have to choose between never have any libido and deal with what they have to force me to deal with, how they manipulate my libido, and then aim my libido toward kids of all ages, from babies to kids of all the kids they've done that to stimulate me. They do horrible things with libido. I would rather lose my libido forever than let them use my libido in this fashion. Meaning, the way they aim my libido toward kids of all ages, from the older kids to the younger kids to the babies, it's so disgusting. Giving you forced stimulations. It's so disturbing. So, unfortunately, this now, I have to deal with that. So the way I deal with it is, once they cranked up my libido so much throughout the week, I'm like, okay, today what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna watch adult content, and I'm gonna release myself. Hopefully, it's gonna kill some of this libido they've been cranking up. You understand how nasty this thing is? I'm doing it now to just like literally release this disturbing manipulation they've been doing. They've been doing so much of it. They're cranking up my libido so much that now I'm looking at adult content. Adult content, not these pedophilia things they wish I was watching, because they say they're gonna implant child porn. And then, hopefully some of that libido comes down, right? That was before I saw this picture of this baby. And then I see this baby, then they try to make me think of it again. I'm like, oh my gosh. They make me think of watching some adult content because they like to connect things together. And it's the same thing. It's just always disturbing. They try to create these things where they want to connect something sexual to kids. Try to manipulate this, and I see this baby, they make me think, oh, go watch again some more adult content. Because the thing with, and I gotta say that, when you watch adult content, and this go personal, but you want to watch it multiple times. So I'm thinking about, I'm gonna have to watch it multiple times, right? Maybe not today, but sometime. But at this point, I was like, maybe I'm not gonna have to. But as soon as I see this baby, they try to make me think of watching adult content to connect these things together. And disgusting. And then that doesn't end there. Then later on, I try to just like get away from these thoughts they just force me to have. Then I'm watching some things to distract me. In the midst of me watching that, they make me imagine some disturbing things with this baby, that I'll talk about. Now, this sounds familiar, right? That's what they do. They're disgusting lowlifes. There's no wonder why there's so much pedophilia in these agencies, right? And every time they do these nasty things, they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna watch you tortured. I'm gonna watch you be tortured," right? And this is the things they do to try to disorient me, because apparently these people who do this pedophilia type of torture, who are forcing you to think about babies in these nasty sexual ways, watching you die or torture is something you care about. Obviously, you don't care what she watches. She's trash. This person who works for pedophiles. She forced you to think in these pedophile ways. So whatever she watches, it doesn't. I prefer that these people stay dedicated in this world where they have to work for pedophiles and manipulate people to think in these pedophile ways. So what I've said here is nothing new. It's just I'm gonna testify every time these things happen. These trash have very pedophilia-centric methods of tormenting people, even babies, which I will talk specifically about this baby. That's the things they do. These lowlifes, pedophilia-centric trash, want you to accept these things as if it's happening to you organically. And they tell you they're gonna watch you. Once they frame you, and they're gonna be tortured. And they're like, oh, they're gonna put a tattoo on your foot. Whatever. This is, you understand, the theater. Because they want you to identify with these nasty things they force people to think. Not only I'm not subscribing to it, I'm gonna talk about it. And I'm gonna make a testimony and put it on YouTube. These people are trash, low-life pedos. And I see them as that. And they will torture children sexually. So when they try to make themselves seen by me, they'll make a mistake. Because I see them for people who not only force me to think of babies in these disturbing ways, but who torture babies. So to all my target individuals, stay strong. That's the things they do. They are low-life trash and pedophiles for the things they force you to experience. And understand, I'd rather die slow, tormented, and let this trash watch me being tortured than having to live this life. It's disgusting. It's trash. And it's funny, they try to call me a nothing. What kind of something does they try to push somebody to think about babies this way? And they try to be like, oh, we're doing that because you're nothing. Oh, yeah, and where are you? What is the job? What does it make somebody whose job is to try to make somebody accept these thoughts that have been implanted in your head? I'm hearing trash outside that contracted by the government to try to interrupt this. What kind of man or woman or person would try to make somebody accept these disturbing pedophilia thoughts that have been implanted in him with a baby? Let me repeat this. What kind of man, woman, or person, respectable person, would try to get you to accept disturbing thoughts that are so nasty, implanted by them? I'm hearing right now they're using kids right now in the hallways. This perps, that they contract the whole family. You hear these babies? I hope you can capture this. Hold on. They're having a baby scream because they try to stimulate me. They do the stimulations and aiming towards babies. This trash has sold even their own babies. They make me stimulated. They force me to get this arousal and aim it towards babies. In the hallway right now, there's a child yelling and crying. This is what the perps sold their soul to pedophiles. You hear this? All of that. I'm glad they actually do that, and this is heard. This is the whole ecosystem of people trying to get you to accept these things. When I was saying, what kind of man, woman, or self-respecting individual would be doing what they do, where they try to get you to accept these forced thoughts of babies and sexual thoughts of babies. Trash. And then you hear people in the hallway, which hopefully I was captured. I hope it was captured by the microphone. I hope that I was able to you were able to hear what was happening in the hallway. They contract a whole family where even their kids are used, and they make these kids cry and man, and every time they cry, what happened is they start stimulating me toward this baby cries. And then you heard the noise campaign from the honking, pum 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 pum. It's supposed to be like, oh, we saw this happening. This them manipulating this, and wanting me to identify to it. They're trash. And I hear somebody say, "You raped me." I guess it's somebody who they're gonna frame me with. This is somebody you think they're gonna live a life of happiness? This is just some time, just waiting for the time for these things to come back. Not only they force you to think about babies in these ways, which I'll talk about it, then they try to make you accept these thoughts as if they're yours. Obviously, they're not. Everybody knows they do these nasty, disturbing manipulations. And then they use their own children in the hallways, making noise campaign, so they can do the stimulation and aim the stimulation toward this baby crying. Then they try to make you identify by the honking that you just heard, and try to make you subscribe to it. And then they tell you, oh, they're gonna castrate you and all that, which the torture is the theater, like I said, because they do this thing to you and they want you to accept it so bad. They're like, oh, they're gonna castrate you, because they think that that's gonna make it seem like I'm gonna like this is gonna make me identify to this, or at least they maybe want to delude themselves. It's the theater, and they're like, no, you're gonna lose. These trash losers that the government contracts have thought that this is the time to win. It's their winning times. They losers to that point. Tell my target individual, death comes to all of us. These trash that have dedicated their time doing these things, forcing people to think about babies in these disturbing sexual ways, using their own children to do these things, to make noise campaigns so they can do the stimulation toward the babies, these kids. And they're like, oh, you're nothing. You see how the twisted they deluded themselves? You see how retarded they have become? Sorry. You see how they've just flipped themselves into some level of retardation? As I've tried to. So what do you think when I see this trash? These people, they say I'm gonna go to hell, right? Because they're gonna frame me and everything. Listen, if such thing of real hell exists, if such thing exists, which I don't know, it's whatever, believe whatever you want. These people literally signed up for it. And they try to make it seem like they try to sound fierce about it too. With validation I have that they've done that to many other people. There's a woman who smelled baby powder. They start giving her this disturbing stimulation. She called it peripheral type of torture. They're trash. So to all my target individual, death comes to all of us. These people are not going to live happily. I'm telling you. Just the bottom feeders. That's the sad part too. They're just nobodies. They're the nobodies the government contract. I know who's responsible for me being here. I understand. I can put the difference. But in the meantime, these people who have to live this trash life are the one tormenting and manipulating me and try to make me subscribe to this manipulation by doing all these nasty things. And then they tell me they're gonna frame me this. I'm doomed in one way. This trash, if that's true, she's doomed in another way. There's no coming back from the things that they involve themselves. This is guaranteed. As guaranteed as I'm gonna be tortured, like they said. It's guaranteed that this for sure is coming back for her in a way that she doesn't even understand yet. So to all my target individual, stay strong. You understand that I have to deal with these disgusting things. You hear the sirens and everything. Stay strong. I make these videos because they want me to identify with this thing. Not only I'm not going to identify with it, I'm going to talk. I'm going to testify about it. To ensure that you know that I'll never identify with these nasty things. No, they try to talk about torture as if torture is going to validate them. No torture is going to validate you. If I get castrated, head chopped and everything, I will never let you live your fantasy. This is what you do. And I'm not even subscribed. This guy that you're going to watch torture, never subscribe to it. I'm saying it today. when I can. You guys are nasty pedos who force people to think about babies in these ways. You nasty lowlifes. These people who torture children. These people who torture babies that I'm going to show. They work for pedophiles in the sense that the entities that contract them are filled with pedophiles. Those are their pedo. They're gods. So to all my target individuals, stay strong and know that justice will be done. For what they've done, the nastiness they implanted, and the nasty thing they tried to make you subscribe to. I'd rather get raped every day in my life than having to live this life.